So this is take 2 because I just recorded a 30-minute long video about Sanity, integrating it with your project, and I didn't have the mic hooked up correctly in OBS. So that's my fault. But here we are. Sanity. If you haven't heard of Sanity before, it is basically a database for your content. That's the way that I think about it. They like to call it the content operating system. It's very good marketing speak for a content management system with a ton of flexibility, right? It lets you create content in their canvas with AI writing, and then it converts that to the structure of content that you have for your website or your web app, whatever you're building. And there's just a lot that you can do with Sanity. So it's become one of the most popular options for a reason. So what we're going to do is integrate Sanity with our project. We're going to create a new Sanity Studio from scratch. And we're basically going to be building a template directory. So if you've ever been to Framer, if you haven't heard of Framer, it's an awesome website builder. They have this marketplace, right? And it's essentially a template directory, right? You can go and click on an individual template and you can see a gallery of that template in a really nice view. You have features, you have a little bit of a description for it, categories, etc. Right? So that's what we're going to build with Sanity. And then on the front end, you can use whatever framework you want. You can use Astro, Next.js. In our case, I'm using my custom framework called Sapling, which is basically just server-side JSX that you can render on the server, and then it gives you HTML on the front end. So it's just a simplified framework. You don't have to worry about a lot of the custom things that these frameworks do. So that's why I built it. It just simplifies things. So let's go ahead and jump into Claude here. And actually, let's go to another terminal. And we're going to go right here and create a new Sanity Studio. So we're going to copy that first line and paste it into a new terminal. That's going to create a new Sanity Studio for us. And we're actually going to use Sanity Course 2025. That's what I called this studio that I just created in the last video that I recorded. But yeah, so it's going to install, it's going to create a new project at studio-hello-world. We can rename that whatever we want here in a second. But yeah, this file right here is created, or this folder is created. And when that's done installing node modules and things, we should have a Sanity Studio that we can run. Cool. So it's telling us what to do. npm run dev is the command that we want. So it looks like it's changed directories already. Or no, it didn't. Studio, hello world. Okay. And then let's do npm run dev. That's going to run our Sanity Studio on localhost. So we can just open that up, move this over here, and it's going to say, no document types, right? So we have Sanity Course 2025 is the title. And you can see all of this if you go to sanity.config.ts, you can see it, right? And we've got a project ID, dataset, production. It might ask you a couple of extra questions during the CLI, but just make sure that you select public, right? Because this is going to be a public website. It's not a private. So make sure that you select public when it's asking you about the data set. But yeah, it should generate it for you. And then at the end of that, you have a Sanity Studio. So what we're going to do is jump back into Claude. We're going to say, now make a template document type for our Sanity project. And you know what we're going to do is actually rename this to Sanity. And that makes it a little bit clearer to Claude that this is a Sanity project, right? And we're going to say, yes, update the imports for our Sanity project in @Sanity. This should be a document type that we can use for a template directory, like Framer, Squarespace, etc. Keep it pretty simple. Let's do a gallery, categories, features, and a rich text description. Claude's going to get to work on that, and we essentially are going to it's going to go into this Sanity folder, schema types. It's going to create a new document type for us for our schema types that's going to match that template concept that we're talking about. So it's examining the Sanity schema, and it should be pretty quick. And then we can talk about the front end while that's working in the background. So the front end is our sapling project. And again, I said this is just a really simple framework that simplifies these types of videos where I'm trying to explain to people the basic concepts without framework specific knowledge. So yeah, we basically have a Sanity client file and we have a portable text file. Those two files, and I can actually delete that types file for now. Sanity client and portable text. Those two files really are what manages the Sanity connection, right? The API calls to Sanity for content. So project ID and dataset, this should be the same project ID that you have in your Sanity config. So make sure you replace that with your Sanity project ID. And then we're going to say production, which is good. And then use CDN is false. So you're going to want to turn this to true in production. You want it to use the CDN so it uses cached data and it's not requesting Sanity for live content all of the time. So we're going to set it to false while we're in development, but make sure you set that to true in production. And you could, with Astro, it's like import meta.env, right, .dev, and then you could switch that. In our case, I'm just going to set it to false for now. Okay. So Claude looks like it finished. Let's go back over to localhost for Sanity. And let's see. Let's do npm run dev again, but inside of the Sanity folder. And there you go. It's running again. Beautiful. Let's refresh on localhost 3333. And we have template now, right? So we have a template document type. Let's create new. And let's do agency pro or something like that. Create a slug, agency pro template. Let's do agency. And we could do another category of like portfolio, landing page, features. You could add some features in there if you wanted to. And then gallery. Let's just go to Unsplash. Grab something interesting, and we're just going to paste it in as our image. Okay, so that was published. Now let's go back to Claude. We're going to say, now let's implement the Sanity client fetch for templates and we're going to say in Sanity client. So we're going to reference our Sanity client file that handles the Sanity connection, right? So we can go to that Sanity client file, get post by slug, right? So it should be able to fetch those templates. And then I'm going to queue up the next thing that we want to do. Now integrate that data in the front end homepage. We're going to reference home. Perfect. So Claude is understanding, okay, I need to set up the fetch for the templates. Created a template document. Looks like Claude's getting a little bit choked up. Okay, there it goes. Add get all templates function. Get templates by slug, get templates by category. Cool. Get all templates. That looks great. It's actually getting the the fetch, sanity client.fetch. Exactly what we want, gallery, asset. That looks great. Now integrate that data in the front end homepage. So we're going to send that now. And that's just kind of a pro tip, I guess, is whatever agent you're using, Cursor, I feel, has made this really easy too. They have like a new queuing function. I normally am using Claude code for the most part these days, but yeah, I like to queue up the next prompt while it's working on the current task. It just makes things a little bit faster, but when you're getting these types of structural things done, these models are actually really good at it. So it's going to go look at the file, import get all templates from Sanity Client, fetch templates, create template, display with grid layout. So that looks great. It should give us a good foundation to build off of. Okay. Cool. Template features. That looks good. Now let's go back to our localhost 8080 and refresh. There we go. We've got Agency Pro, Agency Portfolio landing page. So it's showing the categories. Let's go ahead and go to our home page, and we can remove that little counter there and refresh. Cool. So that's pulling data from Sanity. And if we can prove this too, if we go back to Sanity, let's duplicate this. So we're going to duplicate document, Agency Pro 2, right? -2, and publish. And then if we refresh, Agency Pro 2, and you could change those. Maybe it's not a landing page, right? Publish, refresh, and that is a separate setup right there. Now, this is just me. I like to say cool or perfect to let it know that it worked, right? Be nice to your LLMs. And then let's now implement the details page for the template. And we're going to do, I'm going to reference the index file, which is where the routes are done. In your case, if you're using Astro or Next, obviously there's file-based routing in those cases. So just keep that in mind. Reference whatever you need to for your project, but the concepts are all the same. Integrating Sanity Client, we're fetching the content from Sanity, and then the front end is handling that data from Sanity whichever way it needs to. So it's creating the template detail page, template detail route. That all looks good. And Claude is pretty good at designing a foundation, right? Foundational layout. So it should be pretty good on this first run. Cool, template detail page. That looks good. Add navigation links. So it even remembered I need to go back to the home page and I need to add those links to the individual template pages there. So that's good. Okay, so this is where it's trying to do the portable text React. We have a portable text file render or file already. Let's say that. And that is in portable text. It's in the lib folder right next to our Sanity client. But yeah, it's pretty clearly trying to convert the rich text to HTML. And you can do that really easily with this portable text to HTML package. So it understands dangerously set enter HTML. That's perfect. That's what we want. You would do something very similar with React or Next.js. So let's refresh, click a link, Agency Pro template. And then let's just go to a lorem ipsum generator. Let's generate 5 paragraphs. It's a little long, but that's okay. We're gonna go back to Sanity and we're gonna paste that. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other one, just so we have some content to look at. And let's refresh. and make sure both of those are published. It was still in draft mode, so it looks like it didn't quite get the publish. Okay, let's refresh, and there we go. We've got a nice little gallery on the left, and we've got the description on the right, which is rich text. It can have H1s, H2s, etc. So yeah, we've got a template directory structure and content system on the back end. So really you could go crazy with this. You could set up a content collection for, like, again, a directory, right? Like for doctors or real estate agents or whatever type of directory you're building. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully this was helpful. If not, that's okay. Hopefully I didn't waste your time. But yeah, leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you have any questions about integrating Sanity. But that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you hanging out and building this with me. So yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.